Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78th. The summer solstice is upon us. It is June 20th. And if you are a mystic like myself, a person that believes in something else besides what you can see in front of you, other dimensions, the quantum, spiritualities, mediumship, this stuff is really important. It's meditation, all of this. And it's also just practicing, good mental health on that other end. Either way, the summer solstice is upon us. And I am bringing my friend Deborah Graham in. She is everywhere. She's got her own podcast called The Psychic Connection with Deborah Graham. She is also has a television show on TLC, The Psychic Matchmaker, all the things, websites, all of it. I welcome her now to chat a little about all this and maybe some tips as we approach the summer solstice. Deborah, how are you?
Doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Here we are on the precipice of the summer solstice. And I saw some stuff that you've written about, seven different secrets to deal with this. And obviously from your show, your podcast, The Psychic Connection, and your show on TLC, The Physical Psychic Matchmaker. Sorry, I'm going to start that again. Sorry, I screwed. I don't want to.
And it's The Psychic Connection with Deborah Graham.
Yeah. Okay. Let me start that again. I'm sorry.
No worries. Take your time.
I'm talking really fast today.
No, you're good. Earlier. It's my energy. I'm probably making you crazy. I'm hyping you up.
Yeah, here we go. So, Deborah, how are you?
Doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Before we got started, I had mentioned that I really enjoy the kind of work that you do and the work that folks with your ability do for people who need a little guidance or a little nudge in the right direction. If folks are not familiar with you, why don't you run down the list of some of your accolades? I know you have a podcast and you have your own show on TLC. So roll out the red carpet, if you will.
Well, I've been doing this for about 30 years as a spiritual healer, reader, advisor. I like to say it's a blessing and a curse because it's not something you could turn off. It's with you 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days of year. Trust me, I wouldn't want to envy me because it's like my antennas are constantly buzzing and they're always on fire. So I'm feeling energy, whether I'm doing a reading on the Psychic Connection podcast with Deborah Graham, or whether I'm out and about, or whatever it is, whether I'm matching people, connecting people as a medium, a psychic, a relationship expert. It's an energy and we all have it. It's just some of us are more in tune than others.
Right. It's almost like a radio frequency. If you're out somewhere far,
Yes.
not by the towers, it might not come in as well. But if you work on it, or in a radio case, you get closer, it tunes in a little bit better. That's kind of the way I've had it explained to me over the years.
Absolutely. You could get tingles, you could get feelings. Myself, I burp all the time. Most psychics get chills. I wish I could be like everybody else, but I'll burp. And it's like, whoop, Deborah Graham burped on the truth, because it's like that energy is coming in and it's so deep that when I read somebody, I become them. I'm not like your traditional psychic that just kind of looks at you and reads the energy or kind of goes just by the birth chart. I actually go into your energy. I become you, and I actually connect with your vibration and whatever spirit tells us.
Wow, that's fantastic. I don't think I've met a medium or a psychic quite like the way you do it. And I'm fascinated by the burp, because if that's any indication of me, then I got a gift, I got to say. Constantly.
Wow. Yeah. It comes up. I mean, it's just there. It's an energy. It's like, whoa, you gotta pay attention to your Gita. And the Gita is your third chakra. That is your belly button. That is basically your gut telling you something. So whether you're feeling energy there, or whether you're feeling this gnawing feeling like something's pulling you, or you get the burping sensation, it's like your spirit is moving you in that direction. Your body will actually start to have movements of things that are saying, hey, it's time for you to move on and keep on. Like, I had a client come on the radio show actually earlier this morning, and her feet were itching and burning. I know that sounds crazy, but that means that she was moving and transitioning, and the little unknown announced that she just actually retired this week from her job of 30 years. So her feet were itching because it was time for her to move on. So our body reacts in really interesting ways, telling us what's happening. It's like our body is a neurological energy field. It's like we have everything we need. We just need to pay attention to it.
Yeah, I never even, I guess I never thought about outside of what people might perceive as feeling spiritual connection with make on your hands or the hair on your neck standing up, but other body functions like burping. Now that you say it, it makes sense. 5 minutes ago I'd have been like, you're out of your mind. But knowing what I've read, and I've read a lot about this stuff, and I've even taken classes on it. It makes so much sense. I cannot believe that it took me 45 years to get to something that you just explained in less than 20 seconds. So thank you.
Well, it's like we all know this, but sometimes we don't pay attention to the signs. And that's what I do as a healer and a teacher. And I mentor people that are trying to build their own psychic abilities, use it, whether it's for their own practice. Excuse me, you have it. I'm burping right there. You have the intentions to do this. Like, this is you. If you would just pay attention more to your signs, and if you would just pay attention more to your gut, you would make the best decisions ever.
Well, okay. All right, fair enough. I've been told that many times. And I will say, and we're going to get to some of the secrets in a second, but since we're on this topic, we got a little time here, but I've I constantly see repeating numbers.
1111 is your number, by the way. That's one of your strongest angel numbers. And 55, I just see it. And it's also a father figure watching over you. So whether that's a grandfather, who that
Yep.
is, but he is right there with you and he's pushing you, like he's pushing you on your shoulder and he's pushing you on the right side of your body. It's interesting. Again, body movement. We talked about this, right?
Mhm.
He's pushing you on the right side of your body because the right means giving and moving forward. So he's telling you it's time to get out of your head and get into your like movement into your life, like step into it like already. And if you're not careful, you might just literally trip and fall. That's pretty much so your loved one telling you, "Hey, get your head out of your butt and listen."
Well, what do I need to listen to, I guess is my question, because I do see the repeating numbers, but then I see lots of things where because it's like my logical side of my brain,
Mhm.
because I'm a journalist, so that part was, etched into my my psyche, I should say, about like, well, is that a sign or is that just fact that happened? And that's my internal struggle. And then I'll see like 555, and I'll be like, all right, shut up, Tom, and just go.
Those are your numbers, 1111 and 555, literally. Okay. So as you're seeing that, that's the energy moving us. See, we're all electromagnetic waves. That's what we
Mhm.
are. We're a physical body going through a temporary human experience, but really what you are is your spirit and your energy and your vibration. And even when you die, you don't die. Your soul is still alive and it's still filled with all this electromagnetic energy. And that's kind of what we're all trying to learn, is to figure out who we want to be when we grow up. What is our purpose? And again, just paying attention. But you have it. You have it. You just need to like embrace it and just learn to inhale and exhale and really just stop testing yourself. Just like go and move with it. Just kind of like jump into, get off of a perfectly good airplane and jump off of it and jump into your power. I don't mean really jump out of an airplane, but of course, if you want to do it, you can do it.
Sure. All right. Well, fair enough. And I will try. Do you have any tips for anybody that's watching that might be in the same position I am, where you've been told you have this gift, you just don't know how to use it, or you're questioning it too much? What do you mean by like just get into it? Like
Get
help me
into
just
it. Stop procrastinating. Stop thinking about what I should I not. I mean, it's like spirit is speaking to you. Your loved one came to me. I mean, he came very clear in and says that he's there. And is that your grandfather or your father?
my grandfather.
God bless him, because he was definitely very strong male, demonic, like strong person. Like, whoo, he could be crazy too. Okay, like if he had something to say, he's gonna say it. There was no holding him back. Okay, and
Mhm.
he's still like that on the other side as well. And he's just really like pushing you to get into your energy. And that's what we need to do, is pay attention to the signs, the numbers, pay attention to your gut, pay attention to dreams. Dreams are super important. If you're trying to make a change in life, if you're trying to move forward. Again, we talked about body movement. I'll give you a great example.
Mhm.
If your left hand is itching, literally, it means stop, drop, and roll. That means do not move forward. Do not get ahead of yourself. That means it's not the time to make that decision, whatever it may be. Buy a house, sell
Okay.
a house, do whatever. Let's say your right hand is itching you. That means that it's time to move forward. That means wealth, health, happiness. That's kind of like the green light. It's giving you permission to move forward. And whenever you feel that left, it means stop. That means analyze it a little bit more. So again, we all have these abilities. Of course, mine's is a lot more heightened than the normal person, because I've been doing this, like I said, for over 30 years as a medium, psychic, and relationship expert.
Mhm.
But when you tap into that energy, you're actually vibrating. I like to call myself a human weed whacker and a human vibrator, because it's like when I go into somebody's energy, I'm vibrating them at a higher frequency. And if you just pay attention to those signs and stop analyzing so much, you're 99.9%, you're going to make the right decision in your love life, your relationship, your job. It's like whenever you're having a block in your life and you're like, my love life is just not moving, or I can't seem to get ahead of myself financially, or I can't seem to get my health together, or even having, children, having a baby, that's your fears blocking you. And that's basically what I teach people, whether they're
Mm.
calling into the podcast, The Psychic Connection with Deborah Graham, or whether they're doing a one on one psychic reading, teaching them how to move the energy.
How do you what would you say to somebody, like, to block that doubt, I guess, is the best way to like, the doubt about, "Oh, how to make more money," or how do we get more kids," or, "Ah, I don't know if I can do it," like, how do you get past that threshold? What's one of the steps?
Believing in yourself. That's what it is. You could go to all the therapy, you could do all the self-help books, you could do all the healing energy work, but the number one rule of thumb is trust and believe. And remember that your faith is always greater than your fears. And sometimes whenever we go through a what I call energetic block, it means it's just teaching you to grow. And sometimes it's karma from a past life. Maybe, you got screwed, lewd, or tattooed. Maybe somebody screwed, lewd you and tattooed you over. So karma is going to come back one way or the other. And you have to learn through it. And I don't believe in any lessons not learned. I believe even if it was a bad experience, it was a good experience, because I believe a lesson learned is a lesson earned. And it's all about creating that vibration. Like
We have
yours, you got it. You're writing a book, just so you know. I just put it out there.
Oh, okay, since you brought it up again. So what are you getting from me, I guess, besides the book? Like, what does your intuition tell you about me, or what are
Well,
you
you've
picking up?
always been attracted to the weird, the odd, the different. Let's just get real. Okay. You have that energy, that ADD energy. Your brain does not know how to slow down. That's why you going into the psychic realm and different things and kind of like testing your own belief system.
Yeah.
I feel like this is what's kind of like getting you back. In fact, I feel like you was a shaman in another life. So there's that deep shamanic energy, and you're very connected with the earth. So you got to always be near water or mountains. Those are your two elevations right now. And if you're not near that, you're going to shrivel up like a freaking prune.
Well, I live like 4 miles from Lake Michigan, so I'm
Beautiful.
pretty
So you got that water. You need that energy. So you would be like a fish out of water. So, like I said, your two elements of energy, you can't be in dry, flat land. Do you know what I'm saying? Like for Georgia, for instance, you know what I'm saying? You got to
Oh, yeah.
be where there's like literally bodies of water. But also, it means that things are producing. So I see love, I see relationship, I see family. Like all this is growing in front of you right now. Are you ready for that?
I'm
Because
ready
it's
for that.
happened. It's
I'm
there.
ready to do what I'm doing now as another, like this. I have a day job, of course, and I want this to be my full-time job, and I'm working really hard to get there to do this or a version of this. So I just, as they say, let Jesus take the wheel, or let the universe take the
Yeah,
wheel.
universe, the committee, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah,
God, Allah, master, teacher, creator. As I said, I call it the committee.
the committee. I
You
like that.
are stepping into your power. And because of that shamanic energy, you're an electromagnetic force field. Okay. And I just keep seeing the number 88. So that's like infinity and beyond. So that's like your master number. So
Well,
that's
that's a good
really
number.
important. So that means that you're going to go through that aha moment and have that awakening. And don't be afraid to trust, because love is out there. You're ready for that. I see that partnership. I
For
know you're
folks,
really into your career right now, but I think we need to go to the love relationship because
well,
that's looking really strong.
I actually, I'm a married man, and we
Yes. And I feel like
5
you're in
years.
that power, and the babies,
Just had my daughter 6 months ago.
you're going to have another one. I see a boy.
Oh my gosh. I'm 45. What are you doing to me? I already got
That
3 of
doesn't
them.
mean anything. Heck, men are 70 having babies. That's great.
Well, then I'm gonna definitely have to, expand this, podcast and social media reach to, afford all my children, which is all fine with me. I'm happy to do it.
Well, you can do it, but hey, we don't want to be like what Elon Musk. I think he's got 19 out there,
No,
right?
no, I don't need to be.
No,
No,
we're
yeah,
not
I'm
popping
good.
it out like that.
I
But no, but you're going to have two. You're going to be fine.
Oh, well, thank you. For folks who are on a journey of themselves, trying to discover themselves outside of what we've talked about, the summer solstice is June 20th. You have some secrets just to kind of harness some of that, because that's a powerful energy this during the year, right?
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, the summer solstice comes around, of course, once a year.
Hmm.
And it's pretty much so your time to plant your seeds to whatever it may be. Like your main goal right now is to build your business, build your work. So start planting those seeds, like literally planting seeds, like
Like
getting seeds.
manifesting.
Well, no, no, no. I want you to go out there and literally go get some seeds and plant them into the earth because you're actually going to get them to grow just like a tree, like whether you're planting a garden, whatever it may be, to plant those seeds because it's all about new energy renewal. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all about rebirth. Okay. So it's kind of like shedding away the old and shedding away the fears and actually planning into what is and will be a new possibility as well as a new beginning.
And I know that we bouncing around a little bit, and you listed off 7 different types of secrets for the summer solstice. Was grounding yourself, connecting to the earth, which we kind of talked about. You had manifesting your desires. So how big is, or what's the difference, I would say, between manifesting and what you talk about of planting the seed? Is that like literally
Well,
stomping the
there's
pavement, going out there and talking to people type thing, and manifesting's all up here?
manifesting it and creating it, it means your words are your power. Okay. So when you manifest it and you put it out there, you actually take your future and you bring it into the present tense, like
Mhm.
as if it has already happened.
And then find stillness, meditation. That's one that I've been working on. I haven't done it a lot, but when I have time to do it, it really does. It really is something when you can just, even for 5 minutes, if that's all you have, that really is powerful tool.
Absolutely. And you can meditate when you're in the shower. It doesn't need to be some bells and whistles and be some kind of fancy smancy place. It could
Right.
be wherever you're at, right? But clearing your thoughts and actually silence is communication. So during this time of summer solstice, just really quieting down your mind and taking steps forward to becoming more clearer and more focused on what you really want to attract and continue attracting, you have to clear out all the blockages through meditation. And whether it's listening to music, listening to classical music, or listening to bells or bowls, or just silence, but clearing your mind and taking that 5 minutes like you actually are doing every single day. You can make 5 minutes at any time to take time to do it anywhere, any place. Like I said, you could do it in the bathroom.
What do you do?
Basically at night, whoo, I just leave my body. When I'm done
Yeah.
from like working my 18-hour a day shifts, like literally, I just kind of like leave my body and I just kind of go to that next level. I leave
Hmm.
from the physical plane and I
Hmm.
go into that 11th dimension and I just kind of like clear out the old and then the energy just kind of rapid fires goes through me, renews me. So I'm ready to jump right back into the game the next day.
Is that also what some people might call that, like the quantum field, or is that something different?
Absolutely. It's the
Is okay.
quantum field, but it's also astro projecting because you're actually leaving the physical realm and you're going into that higher frequency.
You also have think about having babies, renew your soul, in time for harvest. All
There
different
you
things,
go.
but that's a lot going on
That
there.
could be for you too. You ready to have that other baby?
Well,
Nice.
hell, why not?
If you're going to
I'm
do
fine.
it, let's get her done. So this is a great
Yeah.
time to actually have babies. There's a lot of babies going around right now. So a lot of people around this time, they get pregnant. They get pregnant and those babies come in the fall. So this is a great time to get her done and go deep and large. Literally.
When I a year or so ago, when I read with somebody, they were telling me, "Oh, you have like they said it was a spirit baby, and that's why obviously if the baby wasn't here, but
Mhm.
she kept saying, no, 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 but it's a spirit baby. It's just like high octane with this baby. That's why it's taken a little time. But there, and she kept saying they, which I imagine you call the council. She said like,
Right.
no, no, they're saying it's happening. You're going to be in Europe, and I happened to be going to Europe that year,
There you
go in this
go.
church, and it was in Germany, and we said a little prayer and intention. And my wife was not supposed to have babies. It was not in the cards for us. And we did the IVF, nothing worked. We stopped doing all of it because insurance changed. And guess what happened? She got pregnant.
She got pregnant. That's when it happens. Is when your soul calls into that spirit and then that spirit enters into your body.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
what happened. And that's interesting because you guys just had your baby. You guys are taking time to make time, but you guys got to take a little time for each other too, because I feel like that relationship is good, but it's not strong enough. I feel like you guys need a little more me time, just the two of you to rekindle that energy. I feel like that's the missing piece. That's what I was
okay.
picking up on in the beginning.
Well, oh, okay. I was going to ask you any lasting thoughts from when we have met in our brief time together, but
Well, I
that's
feel like your doors are like open. You just need to take that much needed vacation. So, I know you guys have a little one, but I feel like you guys need that time. And I feel like it needs to be no TV, no radio, no cell phones. You guys just need time to really connect. And I see you're going to own two properties. You'll have a property near the north and somewhere near the south. So you got your one near your water. I think the next one's going to be near your mountains. Like you're like a big tree.
oh, I love it. I love it. For people who want to find more information about you, follow along on your journey, or perhaps reach out to you through the podcast or however, what's the best way for people to find out what you're doing?
If they want to come on the podcast and get that free reading and be live with me as a guest on the Psychic Connection podcast with Deborah Graham, all they have to do is go to psychicdeborahgraham.com. That's psychicdeborahgraham.com. Or if they want to book their own one-on-one psychic reading, just mention that I was on your show. I'm going to give them 50% off. So make sure they
Amazing.
mention I was
Thank
on the show with you. And also they could follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Psychic Deborah Graham. So, if they want to get that reading, psychicdeborahgraham.com.
And my last question for you, it just as I always like to ask, when I talk to folks like you, what do you feel about, just where we are as we are in at least in our country? Like, is there something for folks to look forward to? There's so much unrest and, upsetness in the
Yeah, but it's
world,
great because upsetness needs to happen in order to
right?
spiral change. And if everything was the same old, we would still be on horsemen and we would still never have cell phones. Okay. So, in order for life to change, we are actually, it's interesting you're bringing this up, in a 100-year ascension change. That's what 25 is about. We have not had this shift in 100 years. Now, earlier in the year, when all the planets, they all came in line, they actually created this movement. So it's all about using your fifth chakra. And the fifth chakra is your voice. And
Mm.
also
Oh,
in Chinese astrology, it is the year of the snake. Now, what does that mean? It means you're shedding, you're laying back all those layers. The old you is shedding, the old you is dying, the old you is releasing, because you're actually going through a rebirth process. So again, timing is perfect. It's all in alignment. There is no such thing as coincidence. There is no coincidence. Everything happens exactly when it's supposed to happen and when it needs to happen. And now with the summer solstice, this is a great time to replant yourself, because as you are shedding from the old and the worn out, we're learning, we're going into this whole new dimensional energy because we're getting more in line with ourselves and we're becoming more transparent. So many people are more in touch now with their psychic abilities, with their energy, with movement, with energy. I mean, you got to ride the wave, because if you don't ride that wave right here, right now, because when the universe gives us a gift, you fricking take it. And if you don't ride that wave, you're going to crash and burn. So, what's the worst thing that can happen? You stand up and you start all over again and you press the reset button. But also, for those of you out there that are feeling a little bit stuck and feeling blocked and sometimes feeling overwhelmed and anxious, just say the words out loud to the universe: delete, 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 cancel, cancel, clear, because it's actually like a reset button to help your brain reconnect.
Deborah Graham, I could talk to you all day, and I'm sure that many other people would say the same. So I will bid you adieu, but thank you so much for taking time to chat with me.